This is a week 6 lecture in the foundation degree in Building Services and Renewable Energy. Building Services Design and Retrofit for Domestic Applications. In order to conclude the week 6 module, what we want to have a look at now is greywater recycling. And what is greywater recycling? First, we want to have a look at is what is greywater? What does it mean? Greywater, sometimes also called sullage, is basically the wastewater that's generated from domestic activities in the household. So that can be doing your laundry, dishwashing, bathing, showering, washing your hands, washing your face. And that basically covers the three main sources of greywater within a domestic setting. Greywater can be recycled on site then for uses such as landscape irrigation and for wetlands. So if you take the waste water, the greywater or sullage, you can basically recycle it and you can use it on site. So that's what we want to have a look at, and that's basically what greywater recycling is. It's taking these sources of water supply and then reusing them for other applications. Greywater differs from water from the toilets. Water from the toilets is designated as sewage or black water, it's sometimes called. So it's called black water, and it's basically to indicate that it contains human waste. So just to differentiate between greywater and black water. So black water is sewage and must go into the sewerage system, whereas greywater is basically like dirty water that can be reused. And greywater basically gets its name from the cloudy appearance and from its status as being somewhere between fresh potable water, which is sometimes also known as white water, and between the sewerage water that we mentioned above, which is known as black water. So the grey water comes sort of in between the two. It's neither pure, but it's neither sewerage. So if we look at the basic system operation of a greywater recycling system, so say you can take the wastewater from your washing machine, you can take it from your shower, you can take it from your bathtub. And basically these all feed into your greywater recycling system. And then what the greywater recycling system does is it sort of prepares the water so that you can reuse it in the house, and basically it'll go up for inside the house. Generally it's for flushing toilets. Then once the toilet's flushed, it'll go down the sewerage system and out into the sewer. Similarly, if your greywater recycling system is full up, you can then drain the tank directly to the sewer system as well. So here's a basic example of a standalone greywater recycling system. This is a very simple example. So one of the most extensive yet most wasteful uses of fresh water in the home is for toilet flushing. So basically in the UK and Ireland, we flush our toilets with water that is suitable for drinking. So the water that we flush down the toilets is pure potable water, which when you think about it is quite a waste of good clean fresh water. So what our recycling greywater system, such as this example on the right hand side here, can do, it connects to your sink and drain at one end. So from your hand washing activities in the bathroom, goes into a little greywater recycling system, and then this prepares the water, which is then reused to flush the toilet cistern, or to fill the toilet cistern so for flushing the toilet. So basically the water from the sink is filtered to make it suitable for flushing, and it's transferred into the toilet cistern ready for flushing of the toilet. So in this way the greywater is then used to flush the toilet, and this system, basically a little standalone system, makes good use of greywater in that it fills your cistern up from your wastewater from your bathroom sink. However, it's very important in the greywater systems to ensure that the water is filtered properly, because if it's not filtered properly with sort of soaps and suds and dirt and grease from people's hands and faces going into the water system, the greywater, if not properly filtered in the cistern, can result in odours and smells developing in the toilet. So the filtering of a greywater system is particularly important. Here's another novel application of a greywater system, where they actually put the hand sink on top of the toilet cistern. So basically the water is used to washing your hands, that generates your grey water, and then the toilet underneath recycles it. So very, very basic grey water recycling system. Application of grey water systems. Basically what a grey water system does is it collects the wastewater from the processes or the applications that we've seen in the previous slides. It filters it and then it disinfects it, and it stores the grey water. So the grey water, generally, as I say, the applications are showers, baths and hand basins. And then what a grey water system does is it supplies this water for toilet flushing, and it can also be used for garden irrigation for watering plants. You can also do a third tertiary filtration that will purify the grey water even further, and in such cases machine or grey water systems that do tertiary filtration then can allow the water to be used for washing machines, so then you can get another application out of the grey water system. Complete domestic solutions are supplied ready for installation and can be used straight away and readily plumbed into the domestic setting if there is space available within the house. Complete bespoke commercial grey water recycling systems, larger scale systems, are also available for plant rooms, and these come with sort of large underground tanks that are also available. So these can be used, grey water recycling systems. Large scale ones would be common in the Middle East, where they'll reuse the water from showers and hand washing in applications like hotels, where they'll then use it for flushing the toilets of the hotel. So let's have a look in a little bit more detail at grey water systems. So the quantity of water that's used for hand basins in a house or a commercial application tends to be similar in volume to that is required for flushing the toilets. So a grey water recycling system is a good match in that its supply water, being from the showers and baths and hand basins, is approximately equivalent to the amount of water that's needed to flush a toilet. In most buildings, water consumption is reduced by about 50% when you install a grey water system. So whether that be domestic, will typically be 50%, commercial can be at least 50% or sometimes higher. And as I say, the supply of the grey water into the system equates roughly to the amount of water that's needed for the flushing, and basically the supply roughly equates to the demand. So each person in the building is basically generating their own water needs for toilet flushing.